So yes, it's official. We are getting a brand new DLC for Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord, and it is called War Sails, adding in naval battles, naval travel, a brand new faction, a handful of new mechanics, and yeah, honestly, I'm pretty impressed. I've got to say, this trailer looked amazing. Whoever created it did an incredible job, so massive props to them. I felt like I was watching a Total War DLC drop, which again is very impressive because their quality of their trailers are extremely high, so big props to them. But yeah, a massive new DLC is coming. Overall, I'm very happy with it. In today's video, we're basically going to go over the trailer, we're going to go over all the announcement blogs, basically giving you guys all the information about what's actually going to be in this DLC. They also mention about a free update as well. I might save that stuff for a video tomorrow, but yeah, there's actually quite a big substantial free update coming alongside this. The War Sails DLC is also slated for the 17th of June 2025, and it's going to be releasing on PC and console, but only new gen consoles, not previous gen consoles. Again, we'll talk a bit more about that when we get to the Q&A, because they also released a bit of a Q&A as well. So let's dive into the trailer, and I'm just going to kind of talk over it, pick up things that I noticed. I'll leave timestamps down below if you've already seen the trailer a billion times and you want to just skip ahead to more of the information. You definitely can. But yeah, I was blown away when this started. I was like, oh my god, this is a TaleWorlds game. This is Bannerlord. And the trailer looks incredible. And right here we get a little glimpse of the Nords, and immediately into the battles of the naval engagements. We can immediately see all the different types of ships as well. Every single faction has custom ships made for their faction. I think, again, we'll get more information, but I think they said roughly there's about 18 different ships in game, which is pretty exciting. We also get a little glimpse of the Nord homelands as well, and also the islands. And again, if we go back just a second, it looks pretty interesting, right? Like, these settlements are very scattered compared to the traditional settlements. Like, again, we don't know the actual distances of this. It's hard to kind of determine how much people move. But yeah, these ships look small, and obviously we're used to castles and cities and castles and villages, like everything quite condensed, but this looks pretty distant away, and this is obviously some of the new land that is being added into the game. As we zoom out a bit more, we get another little glimpse, so I think this is a good place to stop as well. So of course we have Valandia, this is coming up into Britannia right here, and obviously the Empire and Sturgia are up here into the north right there. So by the looks of it, we're going to be getting an entire new island alongside all of this extra land up here in the northern part. So again, north of Sturgia, there's a big stretch of land. It seems like that's also going to be implemented. So it's going to be, yeah, I'm interested to know if like this island is the main base of the Nords, or if it's going to be this little bit of extra land over here to the right, which does seem like it goes pretty far. Again, we get a nice little glimpse here of the Kuzite ships, the Empire. The Empire look glorious. Look at them units. We've also mentioned as well that there's going to be, every faction is going to get unique Maritime units as well. So like Marines basically for every single faction. Though I'm thinking it's going to be insane. Just a bunch of Britannian Thanes on boats with fire arrows, because yes, they showed fire arrows off in this trailer as well. So yeah, that's going to be incredible. And one thing as well they talk about, and we'll get onto when we go into the actual blog they posted alongside that, is it does seem like naval battles aren't going to just be an F1, F3. There seems like there's a bunch more stuff like wind, weather, destroying sails, ramming, boarding. There's a lot more stuff to actually take into account when it comes to the naval side and aspect of it. You know, you can see right here, ramming is apparently quite a big thing, sinking the enemy ship, sending them to the bottom. The way that you can form basically floating fortresses as well is really, really awesome. And as I mentioned, yeah, you can see like the stuff, the actual sails are tattered. You shoot sails, they'll go down. There's fire arrows in the DLC, and obviously also a lot more. Yeah, they absolutely cooked with that trailer. I've got to say, massive props to the people who made it, because yeah, they did a really good job there. So now let's move on to the actual announcement blog post. So this basically details everything that's going to be in the DLC. I'm not sure if there's going to be stuff alongside it that they're just going to be talking about in a bit. I imagine most of the core features, though, they would have talked about right here, but maybe there's still some surprises along the way. I'm sure there is. So they start off with saying, "Greetings, warriors of Calradia. We are thrilled to announce a major expansion to Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. War Sails will be arriving on PC and console, including PS5, Xbox Series X and S. So again, only new gens on June June 17th, 2025. So only a handful of months to wait. I'm very excited for that. And then as we make our way down, they say the kind of a description of the DLC is sail the high seas, lead mighty feats, and forge your legacy in war sails. The epic single player being an important thing right there, expansion for Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord, bringing naval warfare to Bannerlord for the first time. War Sails lets players command powerful ships, engage in thrilling sea battles, and master maritime conquest. Embark on daring naval adventures with new mechanics, territories, challenges, customize your fleet, which sounds very cool, but it's not just going to be like, oh, I'm just going to go on sea and have a ship. No, we're going to possibly be able to choose the size and the actual like power of our ships, which is very cool. Conquer settlements and carve your legend on the high sea. So of course we got our brand new faction alongside all of this, bringing in the naval combat side. And again, I'm very, very, very happy they went about and did it this way. You know, I think the total war style of the DLC is perfect for Bannerlord. The map itself can just expand and expand, and I love the idea of a new faction bringing in a new mechanic, and that just kind of builds every single DLC, because hopefully this is the very beginning of the of their DLC cycle, and we won't be waiting a year and 9 months for the next one, and then the next time maybe we get another faction like an Egyptian, Indian, Asian faction with elephants or something, and that expands the map to the south, and Bannerlord just gets bigger and bigger. We've shown the map, I'll put it on your screen right now, that was found in the files, but there's so much stuff that they could expand to, so many different cultures, and as I said, I'm hoping that this is just very beginning and Bannerlord is now entering its pure kind of renaissance phase. But sorry, back to the actual blog itself. I'm too busy yapping. So chart your course for the Northern Kingdom, home of the fearless Nords, legendary seafarers and masters of close quarter combat. Explore a land of jagged peaks, vast Tajas, I don't know how to pronounce that, and freezing fjords, where scattered settlements rise like ships from the sea. A bold adventurer may trade their goods, recruit their warriors, join their ranks, or challenge their rules. Will you join the Nords or seize its riches? So again, very interesting. Like we pointed out earlier in the trailer, scattered settlements. Scattered settlements seems like it's going to be the case. It's going to be interesting to see how many they actually get compared to the other factions. Of course, they have like the Great Britain style of a massive sea in the way before getting to their territories. Are you going to be able to go and march to their settlements up in the northern eastern parts of the map? We'll have to find out. They then talk about actual naval warfare, and as I said, it sounds like they absolutely cooked with it. We'll have to see if it actually plays out or if it's just an F1, F3 type of situation, but from the sounds of it, it sounds pretty good. So War Sails introduced is a unique and immersive naval warfare system that has been inspired by accounts of actual medieval sea battles, featuring realistic wind and water physics. Ship-to-ship combat lets you board enemies from multiple points, ram them, or attack from afar. So yeah, right off the bat, actually having to worry about the wind in combat seems awesome, right? Like the fact that it's not just like oh yeah, our boats just go forward and we just clash into the enemy, kind of like Total War Rome 2 or something. Actually having to worry about the wind, and obviously having your oars as well seems really, really cool. You have like kind of this double way of movement. But yeah, the fact that it's actually more than just move forward F1, F3 is pretty cool. And actually I imagine maybe getting more speed might increase the amount of damage you do when you ram them. They then later on go to talk about captains can seize the opportunity by boarding already engaged ships. So again, if the enemy are engaging one of your other ships in combat, you can then support them by coming in on the other side maybe, or maybe even coming in on your ship's side to reinforce that and dock and get your soldiers over to attack. You can also prepare for an incoming attack by creating a floating fortress, which again sounds very, very cool, right? So a floating fortress, obviously the Vikings did it quite a lot, and I think it's actually quite common in this time period of basically like tying all of your ships together so that you could, the disruption of a naval battle wouldn't affect your soldiers. It would keep their morale high because everybody's close together. Of course, it reduces your mobility, but it was a very well used tactic in history. So again, the fact that you could actually stick your ships together in a floating fortress sounds pretty goddamn cool. And then they also mention as well, create a floating fortress or take the risk of tying down several enemies at once, giving their allies an edge elsewhere. So again, you can basically board multiple ships and then engage them. We also saw grappling hooks in the trailer, so I imagine that's something that's going to be in the game. On top of that, they also say you can ram enemy ships to sink them or at least throw men off board, shatter oars and compromise the buoyancy. ability. Well-placed arrows and ballista fire can also tear through sails and cripple the mobility. So again, it seems like a lot of these battles are going to be determined not by just whoever has the biggest ship, but whoever is the best sailor. Imagine crippling the enemy sails with a ton of battalion fanes, catapults, ballistas, etc., shooting at sails, and then ramming them to destroy the oars, because of course if you destroy the sails, they still have the oars to move around, just not going to be as fast, and then you can basically just kite the enemy ships. Again, that with, taking into account the wind and disrupting sails, it sounds like naval battles actually have a bit of depth to them, and I'm excited for that. We then move on to the exploring the expanded world of Calradia. So again, this isn't standalone, this isn't a new map, this is an addition to, to the actual base map of Calradia. As I said, I'm a big fan of that. I want just a bigger Calradia, more factions, more ships, etc, etc. So Calradia has been reimagined with a northern region, a settled island, coastal waters, and open seas. The dynamic weather system was also redefined to include storms and trade winds. Ships move faster when riding the glade, but beware, attrition can unreveal even the best laid plans. Okay, so it's like, are you going to be like, can you run out of supplies maybe? I don't know, that's interesting. I actually didn't see that last night when I was looking at this. Very cool indeed. The naval system and the Nord faction integrated into the Bannerlord world reshapes trade, warfare, and diplomacy. Again, reshapes diplomacy. They haven't said anything about improving diplomacy. They mentioned it here. I don't know if it's actually going to be a thing. Are we getting a diplomacy update? They haven't mentioned it. I know this is like basically the most requested feature is diplomacy. But there's like a parlay system coming in the free update. But again, I don't know. They say it here. They mention it a little bit. We haven't seen anything expanded about diplomacy, so I don't know if that's actually going to be a thing, which is disappointing. Honestly, this is the most requested feature, is having a diplomacy a feature actually in the game. So yeah, definitely disappointing if they don't improve diplomacy. Again, they haven't mentioned it, so don't have your hopes high for it, but you never know. Anyway, ships production and new trade goods added a region variety. Coastal towns may grow rich from this if they can fend off pirates. So again, pirates are going to be a brand new bandit type by the looks of it, as well as naval invasions. They also talk about ship production being a completely new thing, which is going to be very exciting. I'm not sure. In a dream world, the ship production would be very cool if it was like the smithing system and you actually got to build your ships and you had to bring resources. That would be so cool. But they could also just mean it's like a blacksmith in towns, and it's just like you just basically build it as a workshop and it produces ships, etc. But as I said, it would be extremely cool if they made it into a proper like smithing. You basically build your ship with resources you gather. That would be incredible. But once again, we'll have to wait until they show off more stuff. They also say as well that sieges have also been adapted to naval warfare. Armies will have to bring along fleets and set up blockades now if they want to stop supplies and reinforcements from arriving from sea. So yeah, now you're going to actually be able to reinforce cities from the sea. Instead of having to break your way in through a siege defense and lose 1 billion men, you can basically, if it's a coastal town, actually reinforce it from the sea. How cool is that? As well as that, they're also going to be able to gather supplies. There'll be like trade caravans as well, I imagine, resupplying them with food. So again, coastal towns are going to become a whole different thing to worry about. Super cool. I'm excited to see how that plays out. I'm not excited to see how the AI handles it. That's going to be another story, but hey, we're only positive vibes here. We also move on to building your fleet. So players can choose from 18 ship type models after historical vessels, each with unique handling, shaped by realistic winds and wave physics. They can customize with siege engines, cargo holds, sails, rams, and more. Shipyards build and stock vessels based on their town's culture and development. Players can also capture ships and figureheads in a battle. So yeah, there's 18 different ship types, right? We have 7 factions now, right? So again, each faction probably gets like 2 different types of ships, and then there's going to be a couple more handovers, probably pirate ships, I would imagine. Super cool stuff again, but you can customize them. This is what I'm saying as well. I feel like because they say they can be customized with siege engines, cargo holds, sails, rams, it makes me feel like there's gonna be a way to build your ships, as I said just a second ago, like the smithing system. It sounds like there's gonna be a way to actually maybe put it together and build your own ship in a shipyard. We'll have to see though exactly. Again, I imagine that allows for a lot of different variants. We then move on to the expand your arsenal. So the character system has also been extended with the Nord hairstyles, beards, and tattoos. So again, more custom stuff. 3 nautical skills were also added, but enhanced navigation, tactics, and stewardship. I'm not sure if that's just like they've been put into them? Obviously navigation would be new, but is it like a completely new section of all three? Like we're getting a naval tactics and a naval stewardship, or are we just getting some skills inside of tactics and stewardship alongside a new navigational skill? Well, again, we don't know. We'll have to find out. There's also many new items, including swords, spears, shields, and armors. So you can't fault TaleWorlds for always trying to get in them 2 new shields for Sturgia in their updates, you know? But yeah, basically new armors and weapons for the new faction. Troop trees have also been included for every faction with maritime troops. Players can also recruit new companions with maritime backgrounds. So again, I wonder if there's going to be like a new part of your party where you can sign someone to be like the captain of your fleet. We then finally move on to learning the ropes. So they've also implemented a brand new quest line to basically encourage players to go out into the seas of Calradia through cinematics, scripted missions, and classic Mount & Blade combat. Learn how to command your ship, take it into battle against pirates, confederacies. So again, a new pirate bandit like kind of group by the looks of it. Lead a growing fleet of newfound allies as you face a range of nautical challenges. Finally, they've also improved audio, adding in more Mediterranean and Nordic inspired music tracks, as well as kind of crashing waves, crackling ships, and the heat of battle, and sailors crying out. Again, a more alive battles is cool. Actually, sailors crying out is something we don't have, and it's a small line you might just completely miss, but that is cool. We don't have a lot of like, you know, kind of cheering and stuff in battle. We want more stuff like that because it brings battles alive, so good to hear. So overall, for all the features, honestly, I am, yeah, pretty happy with this. Again, as I mentioned, I would have maybe loved another culture. I would have maybe loved more of a land mass, you know, but, you know, I'm still content. I'm still happy with this. The naval combat side of things looks really, really incredible. I'm impressed with the naval side of things. It seems like they've kind of gone through a lot of work to deal with that. So now let's move on to the actual FAQ that they posted over on the forum. This will basically talk a bit more about it. Again, I'll link this down below in the description if you guys want to find out. So again, they talk about basically all the features that are going to be implemented in the DLC, the Nords, the naval combat, expanded map, being able to build your own fleet, embarking on naval campaigns, expanding your arsenal, living an evolving world with the naval system, with trade, etc., learning the ropes, and obviously the enhanced audio that we just all talked about. And then the FAQ, we'll just quickly run through the important bits because there's some fun stuff here, which is, I guess, kind of important. So obviously the expansion will be released on June 17th, right there, 2025, so a couple months away. They also talk about how it's only going to be on basically current gen consoles, and last gen consoles won't be supported. And honestly, that really sucks. I definitely feel for the console people out there on the older consoles who won't be able to enjoy this DLC. I assume you guys will still be getting all the new free stuff because, again, I don't think I showed it, but there's also all of this stuff that's coming to the base game. Basically, it's stealth, it's parlay, it's new weapon types like the sling. They talk about massive mod tool improvements. Hopefully they're very good. Events and stuff. There's a big section. We'll go over that in a separate video, I think. But yeah, so I imagine console players on the old gen will still get access to that just with the base game upgrading. But my impression and what I gather is that this naval stuff took a lot of stuff to do. Even the current gen consoles, they say, I think that the naval battles won't be as big as than say on PC. So by the sounds of it, the old consoles just couldn't, like the hardware just wasn't good enough to handle this. So I think they did just make the tough decision, I imagine, to not put it on previous consoles, because again, they're losing money by doing that. But I imagine it's probably just because last gen consoles hardware just isn't good enough to handle it. It sucks. I definitely feel for those of you who have them consoles and won't be able to experience this, but I guess it is what it is. They also talk about as well that there's going to be no collector edition, there's going to be no pre-order bonus. Hell yeah. I think pre-order bonuses are stupid. I also hope they don't do the thing where they're like, oh yeah, you can, if you pay an extra £20, you'll get to play this game one day early. That is the dumbest thing that gaming companies have currently adapted. Obviously it works. Hopefully they don't do it. I mean, by the sounds of it, there isn't going to be a collector's edition, so there's not going to be that bundle. So hopefully they don't do that. They also, as well, that's one of the big things as well I haven't even mentioned yet, is they haven't talked about pricing of the DLC. They do say, though, that exact pricing will be clarified closer to release. Keep an eye on the official announcement for potential promotions. So again, yeah, this is the Steam page right now that we currently have, again, with some beautiful, beautiful images. But yeah, there is no pricing. Approximately 2 months away, which is awesome. I can't wait. But yeah, no pricing. And I think that's going to be a big make or break for this DLC, right? What is it going to be priced at? I think anywhere between 20 and 30 pounds, which is what, like $25 to $35. I don't know what my conversion rates are. You know, I think anywhere in between that is very, very reasonable. Keep in mind, Bannerlord still costs £45 to this day. Obviously, it's on sale all the time, but the actual price for Bannerlord, so with just one faction and new mechanics, as awesome as they are, you know, I don't think it's, you know, if it's like £35 and $40, yeah, I would say, no, that's too far. £30, I would say, yeah, I would pay £30 for it. I think I'd be happy if it was like £25 to £20. Again, I don't know what that conversion rate is, but again, I think that's going to be the biggest thing about this DLC is what the price is for what we get. And I think hopefully it will lead the way. You know, if hopefully it's £20 to £25 and that leads the way to future DLCs and similar content. And, you know, hopefully we just get more and more content, I think, because if they overprice the DLC for what it is, it's going to just basically very much kill the community, and then we're not going to get more DLC. So it's really up to them to hopefully price this well so that we get a good experience, good bang for our buck, and we move on. They also, again, they talk about that hopefully closer to launch, hopefully keep an eye on official announcement for potential promotions. So chances are, if you own Bannerlord already, you might get a bit of a discount on the DLC, which is pretty cool. They then talk about, you know, is this going to be like Viking Conquest with the actual historical context? No, it's going to be in the fictional world of Caradia. We already knew that. Do you need the base game of Bannerlord to play the expansion? Yes, you do. It is an expansion. It's not a standalone. Of course, saves will be broken as well. But you can obviously also, you know, start a new game to get the experience. Obviously, there won't be any naval custom battles, which I'm a little bit disappointed about. I think that kind of sucks. It would have been cool to have that, and I don't see why they couldn't have put that in. So bit disappointed. There won't be anything multiplayer related. It's just single player. Again, we'll have to wait for modders to cook and probably create something. But yeah, it's a shame. Again, there's no multiplayer ship combat, but as I said, modders will probably get that stuff in. They then talk about the differences between the PC and console version. So essentially all the content and features will be the same. However, the battle sizes may vary on console. So again, that's what brings me back to a point where I think maybe the hardware of the older consoles just were not good enough to handle these battles. Because if already the size of the naval battles are reduced on console, then that would make me think that, you know, the old gens just couldn't handle all the new features and the AI, etc. But again, who knows? Obviously, we have all the language integrations as well, so same language translations of the base game. There'll be no specific achievements. Again, that's pretty disappointing. Like, I can't imagine expansion-specific achievements are too hard to come up with. Like, win a naval battle, conquer the Nords, you know? Like, come on, achievements are cool. People love achievements, and it seems like such a small amount of work to put in for, you know, something that is very cool. But maybe they have the data and they realize that people just don't go for achievements or something. I don't know. It seems like there is just a big, it seems like it's such a small thing that could make a lot of people very happy and give them something to work towards. But it is what it is. They also answer the question finally about mods on console as well. So will modders be able to create mods for the expansion? Yes, it'll be the same as the base game on PC. And they also say we are currently not planning to support console modding. Even if we were to explore this in the future, there are requirements that make it quite difficult to achieve the same level of modding support as the PC version. So boom, right there. They're not planning on doing it at the moment. However, they don't rule it out. They say even if we were to explore it in the future, there are requirements, and basically don't expect the same level of mods as PC players get, the same amount of customization, which I think goes without saying. So overall, they don't rule out, you know, working on it in the future, which is cool. Again, that we have this much of a future with Bannerlord. I'm excited for that. But yeah, so again, no mods planned for console, but in the future, you never know. Again, you might go down the Skyrim route where you get like a handful of picked mods that go through and work. Yeah, we always know it's so much work to actually make that a reality. So yeah, that is going to do it for the announcement. As I said, we're going to go through all of the free stuff, which you can see right here. Again, I'll leave a link to this if you want to just go read it for yourself, but we'll basically go for all of this stuff tomorrow in tomorrow's video, discussing all the stuff coming for free. And there's also stuff about basically why I assume this DLC took so long as well. There's actually a cancelled DLC alongside this. It just didn't meet their quality, so pretty interesting right there. But we'll go over all of that tomorrow. Let me know what you guys think of this. Please give me a number out of 10 what you rate this, with 5 being completely like you're not impressed but you're not disappointed. Obviously, you know, going down 4, 3s being you're pretty disappointed, and then obviously your 6s and your 7s and your 8s, so you're like really hyped for the DLC. Of course, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll be covering all the new stuff that they release and the lead up to the launch of this DLC, and I'll of course be covering the DLC whenever I get my hands on it for myself. We'll be doing a campaign, we'll be doing streams, we'll be answering questions. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun, and hopefully this is the year of Bannerlord. So make sure you drop a like, a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.